Buffs Nation, what's going on, everybody? Hopefully, you're having a wonderful Wednesday. Apologies for our tardiness. Rob is just taking care of a couple of things real quick, and then he's gonna be on. But I'm gonna go ahead and get us started. Really great to be back again. Apologies that I didn't get a video out yesterday, which I think was my first Tuesday where I haven't done that, all season long. Um, just crazy stuff with work and had the chance to go to the Nuggets home opener yesterday, and that was a lot of fun. But it was like a 5:30 tip off, and then we had the ring ceremony and all that stuff, the banner raising stuff before that. So usually when I wrap up work, I hop on here. That wasn't the case yesterday. So happy to be back. There's a lot that we have to talk about with the Buffs, and really happy that we're past the bye week. So whether you're joining from Rob's channel or mine, please be sure, just like Ike Hickson is saying, everybody hit that like button when you come into the building. You know what it is. RB is also here in the chat as well, saying UCLA by 90. Hey man, right now we're still trying to figure out how this Buffs team can play consistent football, and I would say every outcome is definitely a realistic possibility. So if you're talking about a blowout in either way, man, there are factors that could play out to where those things happen. But I am hoping, just like Sleepy Floyd saying, that we do have a CU team that's ready to play this week, because we're ready to watch them play this week. So let's go ahead and get into it. Before I start breaking down UCLA, some of the recruiting news, and when Rob hops on, I want to say this was awesome seeing Coach Prime as well as Shador and Travis Hunter at the Nuggets game yesterday. It was really cool. Court side seats, and it just goes to show. I mean, I had a friend, who covers Ohio State. He texted me and said, "I've never seen college players talked about like this or followed like this, to where they're showing up on ESPN, on the Sports Center pages, all this, where it's talking about that they're just at the game." It really shows just how intriguing this whole thing is, the Prime effect, the personalities that are coming in here. Love to see it. But all that to say, I hope everybody on the team enjoyed their time off. And now it seems like, man, by the well off videos, we're going to get a team that should be focused coming into this game against UCLA. I mean, man, y'all saw that clip from Well Off Media circulating on Twitter. I mean, I did a little bit today. Was Coach Prime cussing? Is that really where this team is at right now? Where, man, Coach Prime is cussing. That's how bad, they need to hear, what's going, what's going on. Get to the point. Hold your team accountable, because we can't have any more of this bow jump going on, right? So let's get into a couple of your questions. Again, Rob's going to be on here in just a little bit. Appreciate everybody hopping in the chat. Hit that like on the way in. Loso07, is Alton going to start? I would love to see Alton start. I don't think that's going to be the case right now, though. Rob and I have talked about this a little bit, and I'll definitely make sure we get his opinion on this when he hops on. I think that Hankerson is still going to be that guy. I guess when I'm looking at the starting position, I guess Alton did start last week against Stanford, if I remember correctly. But it was Hankerson who still got the majority of the carries. I guess when you're looking at that, like who's going to get the majority of the snaps, I still think it's going to be Hankerson. Now, could it be McCaskill to try and get him comfortable with what's going on? Sure. But I do think that Hankerson is going to be that back that has the most snaps on the team. But I think our team is better off, especially with UCLA, that has a very stout run defense. I think are they number one in the country, if I remember correctly, right now with run defense? This is a time for some of our bigger backs to really have their moments. Hankerson, around 195, 200 pounds, I think. Alt McCaskill, somewhere between 210, 225, something like that, 215, 225. We need him. Smoke. Would love to see a little bit more of him. Hopefully, Savion Wilkerson is healthy now after coming back from the bye week. But this is going to be a challenge with us having to establish somewhat of a running game to have success, in my opinion, against UCLA. And we're going up against a really stout defense. Now, one other thing to look out for is I would like, and Rob and I have talked about this a lot too, is continue to have some more shuffling on that offensive line. It's a big boost that we're getting Savion Washington back, but I was pretty impressed with Kareem Harden at right tackle last week. And I wonder if he has the ability to kick inside. When I did a video earlier this week with Coach I previewing the matchup that Colorado has with UCLA on Fan Addict Sports. I've had him on my show a time or two, collaborated with him on a few things, but we were speaking off air a little bit, and he was talking about the interior line, and what I was trying to explain was that right now we have some of the lightest guys in that room starting for whatever reason. I don't know why that is. Is it just they know the coverages better than the other guys in the room? I have no idea. I can only speculate on that. But I do know we got some stronger guys that can come in there and give that interior O-line the strength that it needs to establish a little bit more of a run game. I think if we continue to have the same interior line right now, going up against a defense like UCLA's, that could create some trouble for us moving forward. So, Loso 07, I really appreciate the question. I'm sorry I went on a big tangent with that, but I think in order for us to have success in the running game or more success, I would like to see some other guys get their opportunities to start in the interior offensive line, no doubt. The man above, appreciate you as always. Thank you, Tremaine, Young, and B. Everybody's in here, man. I love it. And I love how you guys say hi to each other. David, videos do not equate to wins. Hey, man, that's absolute. But I gotta say, man, as a Buffs fan, seeing this type of coverage, seeing how it's just awesome, man. It is just awesome. I love it. I love that people are talking about this program, this university, Coach Prime, all the players every day. I just love it, man. Should be a good game, and hopefully, and that I've talked about, how do we get to playing a full, complete game instead of 2 quarters, which is mainly what we've done throughout this year. Maybe this time I just need to change my expectations a little bit, and let's just get to 3 quarters. If we play 3 quarters of really good football, I think we can beat the teams that we have left on the schedule. But playing like we did 2 weeks ago against Stanford, obviously that's not going to cut it going against the remaining schedule that we have right now, which is 4 ranked opponents and an Arizona team that's unranked but very hot right now. Andrew coming in here. Running on UCLA is going to be tough. Yes. And I think we need to stay committed to it. I don't want to see Sean Lewis from the Oregon game, calling this game. I would rather see the Sean Lewis from the UCLA game, or not the UCLA game, the USC game calling this, where, yes, we fell into a hole, which I'm hoping doesn't happen this game, but he's stuck with the run game, 50-50 run to pass ratio, 45 runs to 45 passes. The more we run the ball, the more often we can play fake, run play action, and Shedeur Sanders is incredibly efficient and effective on play action. That's how we help him succeed. That's how we alleviate a little bit of a pass rush, is to have at least a slightly decent running game. Please. But we got to stay committed to it. And I feel if we stay committed to it, we'll do really well. I want to see the Sean Lewis, from the first half of Stanford, where we were running the ball, we were completing passes, all this. I don't want to see the play calling where it just doesn't make logical sense like it did in the second half, So I saw that Coach Prime was talking about this in the press conference where he was saying how not only were they looking forward and game plan for UCLA, but he had his staff do an entire scouting report on every single player on the roster, looking at everybody's film throughout this year. I assume that's what these teams do regularly every time they hit a bye week, but that's wonderful to hear. And I'm hoping as well, I can't remember if he spoke to this or not, but I'm sure the coaches were taking time to take a look at themselves in the mirror as well, because we've talked about this with some of our losses. It's not just on the players. This is a living organism. You can't just find one person to blame. A lot of times there's execution errors with the players. A lot of times there's mistakes with what's being made decision wise from the coaches. So I hope they've had a chance to look back at the film, look back at their situational decisions, and have a better game plan now with how they're going to handle these moments moving forward. Again, that's why I've been a huge fan. Still, I want Deion Sanders. I want Coach Prime as the highest paid college football coach because I think some of these game time situations, all of that, taking the ball first and overtime twice, all of that. You can learn. Like he'll learn to manage these tighter game situations better the more he faces them. Like no doubt. I feel like that's how every successful head coach does it. No one comes out of the gate being a master, from what I understand, at managing, tight game decisions, different things like that. So, yeah, and to me, I think the bye week. I'm very excited to see how this team comes out of the bye week. I'm hoping they come out prepared, refreshed. All of our games are going to be on national TV from now until the end of the season. So we're going to have that spotlight on us again. And it was great for everybody to get away, relax. Now we got to lock in and we got to be ready for the moment again. Rob's going to be joining in just a few minutes. He's walking into the house. He had to take care of a last minute errand. So y'all be gracious to Rob. Really appreciate him co-streaming with me today as always. Dewey coming in here. Do you guys think we are saving Alton for next year when we have a better offensive line? That's a really good question, Dewey, because going into the season, I thought that I just had different expectations that Alton was going to be the starter from week one, getting most of the carries. And I thought he'd be off to the NFL because that's what happens when you're a really talented running back. You leave after your junior year, right? I don't think that's going to happen now. He's definitely going to be coming back for his fourth year. And yeah, it might just be one of those cases where they don't want to give him the rock too early, so to speak. Sometimes these ACLs are really hard to judge because sometimes you'll see players like Adrian Peterson or whatever come back from it within, 6 or 9 months. I forget what it is, and then win NFL MVP. And then other times you see guys really have to take their time working their way up to speed. I know it's basketball, but you kind of see this as well. Jamal Murray, he was off for almost 2 seasons before he was playing full-time full-time minutes again. So, yeah, it's a case-by-case basis. Depends on, how he gets over that mental hurdle. And sometimes, there's a lot of, levels of severity with these ACL tears. Sometimes you tear more than other things. Did I think that he would be good to go full speed? Yes. So I guess that was like one of the takes I was totally wrong on coming into the year. We'll just have to see. But I do think, I don't know if it's intentional, if we're like saving him for next year, but I do think, Dewey, that we will see more of him and a stronger version of him next year, definitely. Stanford coming in here. Is Cormati starting? He was he was on the first team at practice. I sure hope so. This is something that I've been waiting for. Cormati's really had his moments. And you cannot teach that length, you know? You can't teach that athleticism. And I think we've seen him, just like any freshman that comes in and plays, they're going to have their ups and downs. But he's made some really stellar plays, and I would love it. I think what would help this DB room and the secondary and this defense play a little bit better is just having more cohesiveness with the guys on the field. Um, Rawhide Media, sorry, discussed this a lot with me after the Stanford game, where we're kind of substituting so much to where maybe that kind of leads to some of the communication issues. And I would love to just see us have our two corners, Travis and Cormani, Omari and Miller there in some of these nickel packages, and just continue to build that continuity and communication with the rest of the defense. But nonetheless, the real star of the show is here. So y'all be sure to hit that like. Let's give a warm welcome to our man, Rob the Man. How's it going, Rob?
Man, appreciate you having me on again, man. Sorry about that. Man, it's been crazy.
Hey, man, no worries at all. Life comes up, and we're here to help each other. So, no worries at all, Rob. I don't know if you caught anything that we were talking about, but we were talking a little bit about just the Cormani. If you think he'll start secondary, all those things. Maybe we just start with that direction and see kind of where you want to take this. What's your take right now on what we'll see in the secondary?
So in the secondary, you do have Cormani and Travis scheduled to start this week, which I think is huge. Cormani staying back home in Colorado, not going back home to Florida over the break, really studying that playbook, watching film. So he's putting in the time, he's putting in the dedication, putting in the work, and it's going to pay off. So we definitely going to find out, this is going to be the first game where we're truly, truly healthy, almost to 100%, right? So we haven't seen this version of this team play. Like every weekend, it's like, what version of Colorado are you going to see? So this version of Colorado, you're expecting to see the most healthiest you ever seen Colorado be this season. So definitely can expect, something different out of this week. Now, what they're going to show, what they're going to give us, it's going to be a show to see. But this week is the most healthiest Colorado has been all season. We're going to find out who this team really is.
No doubt. And I know we want to talk about UCLA, man, but I forgot, man. I really wanted to give you credit because you came on, here on our collaboration a few weeks ago. You said, man, Antoine Hill is gonna be committing, man. Any day now, man. It's gonna happen soon. Let's step back and talk about that for a minute. How do you feel about Antoine Hill and his commitment announcement? I'm sure you were thrilled when you saw that come through.
Yeah. So I don't like to give away people commitments, but I've been like, if anybody that's on my channel knows, right? I put up a thumbnail like 3 days before he committed. So I kind of like I gave it to you without giving it to you, without giving you the answer to the test. But no, man, it's good because we had to get one of those class of 25 quarterbacks committed. Now with Antoine Hill, there is a possibility of him reclassifying up to the class of 24. It's still, trying to get all the back ends figured out. But man, we definitely got an opportunity for him to, step up in the class of 24 instead of him being in the class of 25 and take a quarterback out of the class of 25. Because if y'all always paying attention, I said we're going to take 2 quarterbacks out of the class of 25, and people looked at me like they won't do that. But what I'm trying to tell you is somebody's going to reclassify up to the class of 24 with Danny O'Neal. And Danny O'Neal, he's not going to come in he's going to fight for that backup position. He's not going to let you just come in here and just say, it's mine. You're going to have to earn that. But what I will say is this. With Antoine Hill reclassifying up, he's more likely going to redshirt anyway, so Danny O'Neal would be the automatic backup in that situation. Just because they're not looking to play him next year. They're looking to just get him on campus, get him adjusted to college, be ready to go, have the year under his belt. So when he does take over for Shedeur, it's on. And it's not him coming out of high school, trying to figure this out in 3 months. It's now you got a whole year under your belt. You understand the college atmosphere, what's going to come. you still can recruit the players in your class to come in and give you support. So we just getting started in recruiting. I can tell you that we're just getting started.
Man, I love it, man. I was and initially when I was talking with Rawhide, post game, one of the
Yeah.
days after that Stanford debacle, part of me was like, man, is this going to affect recruiting when they see us just give away a game like this? And it just shows really the ability that they have to really sell the vision, sell the
Yeah.
values, the program, all of that, that they can secure a commitment that's substantial after, such a kind of a short-term uh, setback, so to
Yeah.
speak. That's another thing that I was really impressed with when it comes
But
to
I
this
mean,
game.
it was too good to be true. Like CU was not gonna be in the headlines even on the bye week. It was just too good to be true that somebody didn't commit. And like I said, man, we got a bunch of commitments that's solid committed that's on the way. If you want recruit updates, all you gotta do is hit up my Discord if you're on the channel. If you're not, just pull up to my channel. There's a Discord where we release all the information going on with recruiting with CU. So who's coming on a visit, who's gonna be committing soon, all that good stuff. We let you know up in the Discord. So stay
Man, I
tuned.
love it. Y'all be sure to do that. This is a great opportunity for that. Want to say thank you, Chrissy, so much for the super chat. That is always greatly appreciated. He's asking us, do we have any news on Omar White? I think we talked a little bit about that in vaguely last time we met. Can you kind of recap your understanding of where his status is right now?
Uh,
His time with
so
CU.
what I'm gonna tell you is this: the status with CU is good. He still has his offer. He's still planning to be in Colorado. To be honest with you, we're just keeping everything under wraps. We're not really putting him out in the news in the public eyes or anything like that. But I would just tell you guys, Omar White is still committed to CU. He's still on the way. He is teammates with Eric. His last name is Blake.
Brantley.
Brantley, yeah. He is his teammate in high school, so we're still good there. He's a big D tackle that we need. Kids make mistakes, right? And so Coach Prime is gonna make sure that he does everything to take this kid under his wing and do the right thing. So he is still committed to our class. That has not changed. He's good to go. You just don't hear anything publicly about him because we're trying to keep everything on the wraps when it comes to Omar White.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, and he just needs to be focused on, making sure that I'm sure he's taken a bunch of classes to make sure that he gets all that taken care of to get out
Yeah.
here early, similar to Aaron
Yes.
Butler.
Yeah. So he's not playing football at all right now. It's just strictly academics that he's focused on right now.
Yeah. But y'all don't forget when he committed here. When he was playing, he was I believe rated a 4-star. So that's
He's still a
dropped a
four
little
star.
bit. Yeah,
Yeah.
with him not playing this fall, but who cares? That again, this is another example of Coach Prime bringing in guys that they're just better than what the analysts say. We've
Yeah.
seen that with Carter Stoutmeyer. Like he's a true freshman. Playing on game day right now.
I mean, really, all the stars come from kids going to camps and being put in front of certain people's eyes. So that's how they're getting rated. So it's you're always gonna find that diamond in the rough. That's a 3-star, 2-star, 1-star, or no stars. Because they're not going to these elite camps. They're not always in the public eye, so you don't see them. It comes down to you evaluating film. Film don't lie. What you see is what you get. So evaluating those type of things really, take things to a next level.
Yes. And I remember when I was watching I think it was the Ohio State Penn State game. Was that last weekend? I can't remember.
Yeah,
But
it was last week.
like even Ohio State, they're bringing in a ton of these 4-5 stars, but one of their main running backs getting snaps, getting touches, walk on.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
and I tell people this all the time. They be like, "Well, walk-ons don't get that." I said, "Man, your walk-ons, 1-star, 2-star, 3-stars. Those are the most hardest working players on your team. The 4-star, 5-stars, because they've been so good for so long, they don't work as hard as the ones that barely made it. So they got extra edge on and chip on their shoulder. So you got to look at those type of things.
Yeah, no doubt. There's another topic that is going on here in the chat, Rob. A lot of people are wondering about Juju Mitchell, kind of discussing if they think they'll see him on the field at all this weekend. I'm hoping, I hope to God we do, man, because he makes this defense better. What right now? What are your thoughts, on his ability to get on the field this Saturday?
So from my understanding right now, Juju Mitchell, it's a strong possibility he does play, but he will be coming off the bench. He won't be starting. So we shall see how much he plays. But the linebackers got to do something for have a reason to come off the field. That's just basically how it is. I mean, the Stanford game, they didn't take the linebackers off the field. The whole game they kept Trevor Woods and Billy in. So they have to make the mistake of missing assignments for them to come off the field because Coach Hart, he's locking in whatever two linebackers that's out there. That's who he's locked in with. So the linebackers got to make a mistake, but Juju also got to show it in practice, which he is back in practice. He wasn't at practice before then, but he is back at practice. So he's got to go out there and prove himself, and see where things go.
Man, I love that. Yeah, because Juju, I love him when he's on the field. Trevor Woods' position switch was pretty interesting. What did you think about his performance at linebacker?
Overall, it's too hard to tell. Just because Stanford really didn't run the ball. They passed the ball more than they ran. Every time teams play against us, they always do the opposite of what they did previous games before. So it's kind of weird, right? And so I was one of the people, that's been, saying for weeks that, CU needs to move Trevor Woods as a linebacker just to give us more versatility on the field, especially like when we go into coverage, things like that. So, you never know, man. CU's always watching. That's all I can say on that part. I don't want to go too deep into that, but CU's always watching, man. You never know what channel they watching, when they're going to pull up, how they going to pull up, who name they under. Just know they're always watching. So, with that being said, I do like the decision to put Trevor Woods at linebacker. I've been preaching that all season that, hey, you need to put Roger Ward in the back just because he has more range and coverage skills back there, and we don't have a lot of misassignments. So now, we got to shoot the linebackers and then shoot the front forward. But like I said, with us being so healthy now, coming down the stretch run, you're able to rotate players how they should. So if players do make a mistake, we actually have the healthy players to put in place and not just putting, injured players in to try to shore up something. So it's definitely going to be a difference maker, and we're going to go on a big time run.
And that's what I'm hoping for, man. Because again, with this team, I sound like a broken record. They've shown flashes to where they have the ability to win out. The problem is that they're a 17-point underdog right now going into UCLA because they just haven't put it together consistently. I'm hoping that we can at least see steps and strides made this game towards that complete game. But, I was talking with Colin Moore from Life in Football, on Monday about this a little bit. To me, this kind of feels like a little bit like a UCLA or TCU type of feel to this game. It's a big point spread. There's potential for us to have an away field advantage, a visiting, advantage or whatever. It's going to feel a little bit like a home game with all the people cheering for the Buffs there. And if we're able to punch UCLA in the mouth, when you got Shedeur Sanders,
anything is possible.
You're going to be in every game, man. Everything's possible, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right, man. You hit it right there on the head. People try to make this like UCLA is like a big margin away from CU when they're really not. When you really break down the film and how they lost their two previous games, they lost because of passing attacks, really more than the rushing. But both of the teams play balanced. Utah and Oregon State play balanced, but Oregon State scored most of their touchdowns off passing. So when you look at their linebacker crew and their secondary, there's opportunity for CU to be great. Now it comes down to execution. Offensive wise, Shedeur needs 3 seconds, right? Find your man, see your man, throw the ball. Don't hold it more than 3 seconds. If it's more than 3 seconds, it's gonna be a sack. That's just what it is. They're gonna send the dogs out to you. But you got 3 seconds to make a decision what you want to do. But with that being said, you had 2 weeks to prepare. You know, you have to film, you have to break down, you have to install what you're gonna put in. Now it's about execution. Can we execute to a high level to make things go and prosper? You know, and those are the things we're gonna see. But it just has that feeling like TCU all over again with this game. And I got CU winning by 3. So hey, that's just how it goes, man.
Yeah, on Coach I's show, I had us winning. It was vague. I had us winning by 1 score. So you can take that as a touchdown or field goal or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, y'all do not take my betting advice unless it's about these wins for the Buffs, right? That's the one that I hit on. But
but I mean,
there are a few other
but
things
with that
I
being
want to
said,
ask.
though, with that being said, though, we still got to get at least 2 more wins to get both eligible. So you're gonna have to be somebody that's ranked team. It's just a matter of fact. You know what I'm saying? It's where's the better way than go off a bye week and get a victory, and then come home and you play in Oregon State for homecoming. You know, so you got to get a victory somewhere, and this is the opportunity where we can go get a victory.
Yes, yeah, and this team, in my opinion, they're just too talented, though they're inconsistent right now. They're too talented to just lose out. You know, like
Yeah.
I still think the minimum for this stretch is getting 2 more wins, man. I think that's the absolute floor. I think that again, as this team continues to develop continuity with each other, I think that that's been the one thing that some of us kind of underrated. You know, how these communication errors are happening and everything like that. Of not enough, too many players on the field with one play, not enough with the other. All this stuff. It's going to get ironed out the more these guys play together and the more these coaches work with each other. That's just how I think. But man, a side note, Rob, man, if they're they're taking your advice, move Trevor Woods down to safety, get Roderick Ward out there. I mean, you were on that a long time before we started having it, man. I'm just gotta say, see you, man. They better send you a message or something if they need some more analysts, right?
Hey man, I'm always available, man. See you. I'm 1 call away, man. But I will say this: majority of the time when they making adjustments, we talk about these things like all the time, you know. And we just go and we just talking. And some of the things that we talk about, it just happens. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I say, man, you never know who's watching. You never know who's supporting, who's doing things like that. In that notion, you know. So
no doubt. I got a few other questions for you that I've highlighted for you as like we were talking, I guess in like the pre-show before you showed up and made it the true show. But Tremaine Young had some really good points in here, and I want to bring this up. I would love to see more toss sweeps, jet sweeps, tight end sweeps, a lot of sweeps, maybe some track plays up the middle, and maybe a few outside option runs. Prefacing that with kind of this question of, is there any little wrinkles or things that you would like to see you do to maybe help establish a run game against one of the top defenses right now in the FBS in some different ways than what we've been accustomed to seeing so far?
I would love to see this weekend, you know, see you attacking more zone runs. That's been giving UCLA problems, especially against like Oregon State and Utah. When they've beaten UCLA, it's been more zone read, zone options. So giving Shedeur more options off the zone to be able to make plays, be able to read the defense would definitely help. We do need to run a little bit more jet sweep to keep the defense honest. We don't run jet sweep enough. You know, every time we ran jet sweeps, we actually had success outside of one time, which is Jimmy Horn. But outside of that, we've been super successful running jet sweeps.
Yeah.
I don't understand why we don't do a lot more creative running ideas. Now, toss sweep, I'm not a big fan of toss sweep, and the reason why is because, you know, if you miss that handoff, you give an opportunity to open your running back up with a defensive lineman or linebacker that's blitzing. You opening your running back up for too much ability to get smashed and fumble. So I'm not a big fan of the toss sweep, but we can do more things and be more creative. I would love to see, a bubble screen pump and go. Fake the bubble screen and throw that thing up the sideline to one of our big wide receivers or to Mikey Harrison. Some of the things that we running, there's different options that we can do out of it, and we need to come back with it. I just want to see more consistent play calling, right? When it comes to offense. If something working, just stay with it until you could run different wrinkles off that same play. Say the same formation, run a different wrinkle off of it. And so that's where I want the offense to mature at, going into this week of when we installing stuff, we're running the same formations, bit off of it, right? What's the next progression out of that, right? We were successful off of that, boom. Run it again. If we're not successful, run the next wrinkle to it.
Yeah.
And so those are the things that we definitely need to take advantage of for sure.
Buffs overload cracking me up, man. But I totally agree. Buffs overload's also bringing up something here that kind of transitions to the running game. And I spoke a little bit about it before you hopped on. But O-line, what are you expecting to see from the O-line this week with Savion Washington coming back? You think Kareem Harden's still going to find his way into, I hope so, the starting lineup? I just don't get it.
So if it was me, my ideal line, right? Just looking at the situation, right? I'm going Savion Washington at the left tackle. I'm going Jack Wiltie at the left guard. Van Wells at the right guard. Landon Beebe at the right guard, and then I'm going Savion Washington at the right tackle. I'm sorry. Kareem Harden. Sorry, Savion Washington to the left and Kareem Harden to the right. Yeah.
Cool.
But we gonna see, right? Because they're from what I'm hearing, that they're thinking about putting Harden at right guard, and Savion Washington at right tackle, and then left guard, they're thinking about moving Landon Beebe to left guard. So, for me personally, I would take out Tank and move Savion Washington. Savion Washington back to the left tackle, where he knows how to play that position. Leave Kareem Harden at the right tackle position, and bring Wiltie in at the left guard.
Yeah.
No jet sweeps with Hunter. No jet sweeps with Hunter. So if we're gonna do jet sweeps, here's my idea with jet sweeps, right? You put Alto in the backfield, you put Dylan in the slot, and let Dylan come with his jet sweep motion. The reason why you're going to create more avenues, because even if you don't hand off, even if you don't give Dylan the jet sweep, the motion of him just coming across, you're going to take 2 or 3 people with him. You can hand the ball off to Alto to shoot right up the middle, or shoot off the tackle, or shoot up the guard position. And then you can even play fake out of that 2 option. Boom, you fake it to Dylan, you fake it to Alto, throw it right over the top of the defense. So there are so many options you can do, but you got to use Dylan. You got to use Dylan Edwards in different opportunities in space. Travis Hunter on the jet sweep is not a good idea. You don't want to give him that many opportunities to get hit in open space like that. Like that's just not good.
Linebackers and defensive linemen and all that. Yeah, he's already taken enough contact.
That's just not a good idea.
No. Yeah, and in regards to the offensive line, I don't know if you've asked around or if you've heard anything, but was there any reason or anything that you can speculate on why we just never saw Jack Wiltie after week 1 against TCU?
Part of it was he got hurt, so that's part of the reason why. And he just never worked his way. He just never got the opportunity because nobody's been hurt at the guard position for him to come back in. But he got hurt. That's more what it was.
Gotcha. Okay, because that makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot more sense then. With what's been going on, that's for sure.
Yeah, had he not got hurt, he still stays in at that guard position. But because he got hurt, that plays a part because he is one of our bigger linemen. He did a solid job against TCU.
Yeah. Well, I hope we see him back here soon then. With MB asked, what's going on with Slusher? What is going on with Slusher? I didn't know there was something going on with Slusher. So
there's nothing going on. Okay. He's just sharing time with him and Cam. That's just what the nature of the game. You come back off an injury, somebody's hot. And now, if Cam wasn't doing his job or doing anything like that, then that's a different situation. But you know, he's good.
Mm-hmm. And Giggity coming in here saying Isaiah Jada. He's one of the names that always kind of flips out of my mind with how many guys we've had come into the program.
Yeah,
Getting some snaps at left tackle today. So that's interesting.
yeah.
I feel like he's the type of guy that can play both guard and tackle. That's at least what I'm hoping. Any opinions on him or David Connor? I know he's coming back from, I think it was torn triceps.
Yeah, so David Connor is back. Whether he plays the rest of the season, that's going to be to be determined. Because I mean, when you look at it, we got 7 games left. Counting this week in the bowl game, we got 7 games left.
6.
Or no, 6. Sorry, 6. We got 6 games left. So is it worth playing him 6 games and lose the eligibility? For him playing half a season, or does it make sense for him to be ready to go for next season? Right. So those are the pros and cons with David Connor. David Connor could practice just like Tyler Brown, and so those are the things that you weigh, right? Is it worth coming back for 6 games, giving up half a season, eligibility, So I don't think you'll see David Connor come back the rest of the season just because of eligibility. You don't want to lose 6. You don't want to lose half a season because of eligibility. When you come back healthy, you can practice, do those type of things. But when it goes to Isaiah Jada, that's something they evaluated with Tank, at the left tackle. You have to evaluate him. You can't just keep saying, hey, we see what the problem is. And I said this, the bye week is going to change a lot of different things. The bye week is evaluation, right?
Yeah.
And you got to come with it. If you don't come with it, guess what? It is what it is, Each and every week you see somebody in the left tackle, practicing that left tackle, and they still haven't made that change. So now we're going to see, right, is it going to come to fruition? Being that it's Wednesday, tomorrow will be the day to know like who's going to start at left tackle. That's when you really get back the feedback of who's going to start on Saturday, going into Friday. So tomorrow we'll find out who you see at left tackle. That's really who's going to start during the game. So if you see Isaiah Jada, that means they're going to go with Kareem Harden at the right guard, and they're going to put right tackle. They're going to go with Savion Washington.
Man, music to my ears. And my whole thing was like, man, if you're subbing guys in, whatever, can it get any worse? Can it get any worse? I feel like we only have improvement to show by giving these guys, some opportunity. Bigger and stronger guys, for that matter, some opportunity on the field.
But that's the part of us getting healthy, though. You see,
Yeah.
It's hard to really make changes when you're not fully healthy. It's hard to make changes when you don't have, the body, the depth to really go at practice and go hard to find out who's the problem. You can say film, but if the players behind them are not healthy, it's hard to substitute them in. So now that, coming off that bye week and we're fully healthy for the most part, like this is the closest 100% healthy this roster is going to be for the entire season. So this is where the time where you can make those type of changes.
No doubt. Well, I think, man, that might just wrap up kind of the questions that I was highlighting regarding what we'll see in terms of how we're handling UCLA. But I wanted to talk a little bit more about recruiting with you, Rob, if that's okay if we switch gears. I mean, you're my go-to guy when it comes to understanding what's going on. So forgive me for forgetting these names.
No, you're good. You're good.
But who are some other names that you've seen that are talked about visiting here soon, which is awesome? Or just any updates on guys that we should still keep an eye on? I imagine things with like Boo Carter is probably still pretty interesting. Things with Jordan Seaton's probably pretty interesting. I haven't seen anything go on with our top recruit coming out of the state. Right now committed to Tennessee, Gage Ginther. I think he might have visited, but possibly is there not a lot of steam to that because we got our eyes focused on some other offensive line talent. I don't know. Give it to me.
So what I say is, if you want a full update, you just got to hit the Discord. So I'll give you an update on a couple of things, but the Discord, I got a full update of everybody that's coming to visit. Who we're targeting, who are possible, on commitment alert. I got a full thing laid out in in my Discord. But when you look at who's visiting, we got a tight end coming in next week. 3-star tight end. He was a commitment of Oregon who just decommitted from Oregon. He's coming in next week. Nick Marsh, he'll be here in December for his official visit.
See a Michigan guy?
Yeah, he's the Michigan State commitment.
Okay.
We got another receiver coming in that was a former Texas A&M decommitment. He's coming in that we're applying the pressure to. He'll be here in December. So we have 2 wide receivers that's coming in December. We have a defensive player that's coming in December. So when you look across the board, we have a total of like 4 players that's getting ready to come on a visit. Over the next 2 weeks, we got about 4 players that's coming on official visits, and then the rest are coming in December.
I love it. I cannot wait. Really quick, I'm going to turn on my light, but I saw that Ryan Wingo today committed to Texas, which I think is what kind of everyone figured as this whole thing progressed. But I mean, you talked about it just a minute ago. We got plenty of wide receiver talent. Looking at CU, is there anybody else in terms of wide receiver or even I guess like offensive line too? Yeah, we could talk about that. Just on the offensive side of the ball that we need to keep our eyes out for.
We got an offensive lineman that just decommitted. That we're strongly after right now. So in this class of 24, we're probably gonna have 3 to 4 offensive linemen that's gonna sign with us. Wide receivers, we got 3 of them that we're trying to close right now. 3 more wide receivers that we're trying to close right now. They're big time wide receivers. 1 5-star, 2 4-stars. Defensive side, we got 2 defensive linemen that we're still after, 2 linebackers that we're still after, and then we're gonna have a surprise that's gonna commit 2 DBs that's gonna commit to Colorado as a surprise.
I guess we don't right now in our 24 class. I don't think we have a DB right now.
We technically do. He's solidly committed, but I don't want to ruin his commitment. He's solidly committed. But
that doesn't count yet.
It doesn't count yet. But what I will say is he's going to come out publicly in less than 2 weeks. I will give you that. And
perfect.
He's super close to somebody that's already in the program. So we got some connections coming. Connect the dots are coming.
Hey, you got my mind thinking, man.
Yeah, there's some players that just hit the transfer portal at other schools that's connected to some of these CU recruits. So there's definitely some headlines, some headways that's coming here pretty soon. And I kept saying that the one domino people waiting on, and it's about to drop. So when that domino drops, you're going to see a string of commitments. But keep in mind, December 20th, mark your calendar for December 20th. That is early signing day. So we're going to have a surprise on early signing day, December 20th. You can book that. Yeah, I can guarantee you that one.
Man, well, hopefully it's some Aggies flipping out here. That's
well, I can say this. There is a linebacker that just hit the portal from Texas A&M that we're after, and he's connected to a recruit.
Oh, man. Well, I love that. And Lawrence Collins, I don't know if he's in the chat today, but he did hit me up on Twitter, I think yesterday, about Michigan State offensive tackle that hit the portal that he's like, I think we should have our eyes on with him. I can't remember all the eligibility things because
it's in my it's in my Discord. I already got it in my Discord for the.
I don't want to spoil anything then. So
no, you're not spoiling anything, but no, I just know people that know people that know people. I'm not on CU staff, for those who's asking. I'm not on CU staff, but I'm very connected in the recruiting world with people. So I know a little bit more than what most people know. And I know stuff before stuff happens. So about the Antoine Hill thing, I just knew some stuff that happened before it happened. That's all I can really say about it,
Well,
but yeah.
I think it's awesome, man, and I think it's really cool the work that you're putting in to, yeah, like really kind of carve out this type of I don't know, but you just do things differently. That's what I'm trying to say. You have your own corners, that you really have gone into and are owning, and I just love it, man. I love having you on here to chat about all of this, and it's really cool hearing from you, and relaying some little tips of what all the birdies are telling you, man.
Yeah.
It's always wonderful. So it's a great privilege to always have you on, Rob, and to collaborate with you every week. It always means a lot. And flexible, all that greatly appreciated. I got to wrap this up here in the next few minutes, but always love to leave with what do you have going on for the rest of this week that viewers can look forward to as we get ready for Saturday's matchup?
So there is a show coming on later after this show on my channel. So if you want to pull up to my channel, you can. We do have a show going on today. Tomorrow, we talk about college football, NFL. Friday, we do our the betting segment. So I give out I got a couple people come on. They're gonna get a top picks for the week. Saturday, we go pregame, halftime, postgame. So everything CU. Sundays is just open, but we got a rhythm that we're doing right now. Also got a channel for the Discord that Mr. David Top Bustin popped up there for me. With the Discord, right? What we do in Discord, we do show every CU game live. So you don't get hit with any copyright material, any copyright material on YouTube. So everything that you need to know as far as recruiting, exclusive information, injury updates, anything like that CU related, it's in the Discord. So man, we just in there have a good time. And while we're watching the game, you can give your commentary live, you can chat, you can voice your opinion, you can do all that good stuff in the Discord. So we got everything that you need in the Discord. All the information right there. All you got to do is just follow that simple thing, and we get you taken care of. Shout out to Rob the Man Media team. Y'all know who y'all are, man. I appreciate you guys. Y'all put in a lot of hard work just as long as me. So I can't it ain't me just doing this. I got a team of people that helps me with this.
Love that. Love that, man. Well, thanks again, Rob. It's always a joy chatting with you. Always really insightful and always just has me pumped up, man, about what's going on. Always good to see your channel grow as well and to see what you got going on. So really appreciate, again, you taking the time to hop on and chat with me, and to everybody in the chat, thanks so much for sharing your thoughts, your questions, having this Discord with us. I mean, this is what makes doing this fun, is talking with you guys, being able to get everybody's takes. And lastly, want to give again a big shout out to Chrissy for that very generous super chat. Really means a lot. I will be back, I'm sure, at some point tomorrow. Just hit that bell notification. That's all I can say. I got some text to send out and some people to follow up with before I fly out Friday night to Texas. So until then, everybody, I will see you later. And as always, Sko Buffs.
Go Buffs.